Yeah, I wanted to go through these new this new water disclosure, seller's disclosure about groundwater and surface water rights. So this is paragraph 7I. This was added to the contract. This time you'll see the TREC number was updated to 20-19, and it's now dated May 4th, 2026. Section 7I has 3 sections, 1, 2, and 3. Best practice, whenever you take a listing from now on, whenever you start talking to a seller, you need to read through section 7I3 with them. So seller is not required to deliver the seller's water disclosure to buyer because all of the following are true. So all 5 of these items, A, B, C, and D, need to be true. So just ask the seller, hey, seller, are you aware of a water well on the property that's in use or not in use? It doesn't matter what the water well does. It could provide water to the house. It could provide water for the animals or irrigation, or maybe it's filling a pond or tank. It doesn't matter. If it's there, it needs to be disclosed that it's either in use or not in use. Is the seller, are you not? So it's in the negative, but we'd ask them in the positive. Are you aware of a pond, lake, or water tank on the property? Pond, lake, water tank. So they use these 3 words because in Texas, people use these words very loosely. Water tank, think of it like it's there for animals, or it's there just as a collection tank, maybe water running off and it goes there instead of flooding the property. So seller's not aware of a pond, lake, or water tank. If they say, yes, I am aware, well, now we have to do this water disclosure. I would go through all 5 of these. Seller is not aware of any certificate of adjudication, certificate filing, or permit for surface water rights associated with the property administered by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, TCEQ. So is the seller aware of TCEQ coming and saying, hey, we're filing, we have a permit for the surface water rights here on your property? Chances are they're going to say no to this. I think we're going to hear no quite a bit, but good chance we're going to hear yes at some point. Seller is not aware that any groundwater rights to the property have been severed, sold, or leased in whole or in part. So surface water rights, we'll talk about surface water here in a minute. But if you're leasing the property, like maybe it's 10 or 20 acres and you're leasing it to a cattle rancher and his cattle are on the property and they are drinking this water, well, now they've leased the water in part or in whole to this third party. And then the last one is the property receives water only from the following municipality, which is a city, a municipal water district, a MUD, or other special district, water supply corporation, or private water supply company. So they're not required because all of these are true. So all 5 of these are true. We don't need to do it. If one of these is not true, then we need to do it. Chances are some agents are going to have this already available on transaction desk, just like they would a seller's disclosure. But there's a good chance that a lot of people aren't going to know anything about this. It's a good best practice to reach out to the listing agent and just ask them, hey, is your seller required to complete 7I on the new contract? Okay, so this is the same language as the seller disclosure notice where the buyer has received it. The buyer has not received it. You got so many days that you can give it to me. If you don't give it to me and you're required to, well, now I can back out of the contract all the way up until the closing date. If not, if you give it to me after we have signed this and executed this contract, well, then I have 7 days after that date that I can back out for any reason. So let's go look at the actual seller's disclosure about groundwater and surface rights. This is also dated May 4th, 2026, and this is TREC form number 61-0. So paragraph 1 is going to be all the definitions. So groundwater, groundwater district, surface water rights, and water well. So groundwater, meaning water percolating below the surface of the earth. Groundwater is usually found in subsurface reservoirs or aquifers and is accessed by water wells. So groundwater, everything underneath the ground, flowing water. Groundwater district, a local or regional groundwater conservation district, underground water conservation district, subsurface or subsidence district, or other special district or authority that has that regulates the drilling or operation of water wells. Boy, that was a lot. So groundwater district, that means someone else has some authority over the property and they're the ones making the decision whether or not you can drill for groundwater. Surface water means lakes, rivers, creeks, streams, and in the bays, estuaries, and arms of the Gulf of Mexico. So this is the water sitting on top of the land. Like you own the land below it, but the surface water, that could be owned by different people, right? So this language is the same here for surface water rights. It's asking if, the TCEQ has a permit, a certificate filing, certificate adjudication administered. This is something that I imagine the seller will know if they know, and if they don't know, they'll have no idea what you're talking about. They cover that quite a bit in this form as well. They know that we don't know what we're talking about and that we need to get attorneys involved. So it says that in here explicitly. The last thing is water well means the artificial excavation that is drilled or dug for the purpose of exploring for or producing groundwater. So, you're going to dig a water well down there. You need to know how deep this water well is. It's a good question to ask. What does the water well do? Who dug it? How old is the equipment? All of these things. Very good to know if you're listing a property or if you have the buyer and you're trying to engage about a property. So if they're required to fill this out, so the first part of it right here is just giving you definitions. The second one is talking about groundwater water wells, so everything under the ground. And then 3 is talking about surface water, so everything on top of the ground. This is all, it's a lot of detail here. Ask more questions, pause, ask questions. Don't just run with this stuff if you don't know. And also don't talk with authority if you don't know too. So it's good to pause and ask questions. Right here at the end, we got notices to buyers and sellers. So this is all the CYA stuff. This is saying, hey, it's multifaceted and complex. The seller may not have complete knowledge or understanding of the water rights. Water rights that are related to the property may be held by others, rules and regulations of groundwater districts. This is all consultant attorney. If you're getting serious about this and this is important to you, you need to talk to an attorney. We are not qualified to give that info. So there you go. 7I, read this stuff. Just take the time, read through it every day. Get to where you can explain it. Get to where you feel like you really have some confidence around what this means. These 5 items, get to where you're memorizing these so you can just rattle these off. Very important when you're talking to a seller and you're getting serious about signing listing agreements that you bring this up. Has anyone taken the time to explain the new groundwater and surface water disclosure on our Texas contracts? Boom, it's a great conversation starter. And then you can just rip right through these 5 items. Same thing when you're engaging the listing agent, asking them, hey, are they exempt from it with 7I3? Just asking this question and then moving forward. Pause if you don't understand it. Reading things out loud really brings a lot of clarity. I hope this helps.